Welcome all of you in learncbscbio.blogspot.com. In the part 3, I am going to discuss the chapter life process and the subtopic is respiration. So let's have a discussion over this topic. So you can see this life process based on the entire video is based on NCERT and it is for class 10 and it is part 3. In part 1 I have discussed the nutrition in plant. Part 2 I have discussed nutrition in human being, and now it is part 3 where I am going to explain respiration. So be with me. So let's begin with the definition of respiration. What is respiration? Respiration is defined as the chemical process by which energy is released from food molecule. Right? So respiration is defined as the chemical process by which energy is released from food molecule. Actually, respiration is a oxidation of glucose. So this is oxidation process where there is oxidation of glucose to release energy. So it can also be described as the oxidation of glucose in a series of steps. It occurs in all living organisms and the energy released is used for cellular process. Right? So this is the definition of respiration. Actually, it is a catabolic process during which there is oxidation of glucose to release energy. And this release of energy is in a step-wise process. So here it is written oxidation of glucose in a series of steps. Why? Why it is so much slow? Why it is in steps? So here is the energy contained in glucose is released slowly. Why? Because if it were released at once, the following could happen. Cells could be damaged by overheating, and the second one is the energy would be wasted because too much released for the small chemical job in the cell. Too much energy is released for the small chemical jobs in the cell. That's why energy contained in glucose is released slowly. Okay, so now it is very clear what is respiration and why respiration is a stepwise process, right? This is the respiratory pathway. You can see the respiratory pathway. This is the respiratory substrate glucose. It is the common respiratory substrate. Respiratory substrate मतलब जिसका oxidation होना है, respiratory substrate. Now what happens? This respiratory substrate goes under the process of glycolysis. The process occurs in cytoplasm in which this glucose get converted into pyruvate. Now fate of pyruvate depends on presence of oxygen. If oxygen is not there, if there is no oxygen, anaerobic condition is there, so incomplete oxidation of pyruvate results in formation of ethanol or lactic acid as the case may be. And if the respiration is aerobic type, its complete oxidation occurs inside the mitochondria producing ATP. Okay. So there are two types of respiration. One is the aerobic type that occurs in presence of oxygen. Another is anaerobic type that occurs without oxygen. In aerobic respiration, as you know, anaerobic means respiration without oxygen. So it is the process in which food is broken down without the presence of oxygen. In this case, glucose is not completely broken down, hence less energy is released. This occurs in condition where there is a severe lack of oxygen. For example, the muscles of the body. Some bacteria respire anaerobically For example, yeast. Once oxygen become present, anaerobic organism would respire aerobically. It is often used, means anaerobic respiration process is often used in beverage industries. See this diagram. This is glucose. Conversion of glucose into pyruvate occur in the process of glycolysis. As you know, as I discussed earlier, glucose is a 6-carbon compound. Under glycolysis, it breaks to form 2 molecules of 3-carbon compound. So pyruvate is there. Now see, in the absence of oxygen or in very low amount of oxygen, in anaerobic condition, what happens? In muscles, there is formation of lactic acid. Some bacteria also produces lactic acid. So lactic acid formation will be there in muscles also. And yeast produces ethanol, right? So this is happening in the process of anaerobic condition. So in anaerobic condition, what is happening? This is glucose. In human, what happens? Lactic acid produced in the muscle. So now it is very clear what happens in anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, there is incomplete oxidation of pyruvate that results in formation of either lactic acid or ethanol. Lactic acid may be produced in case of human muscles, in some bacteria, and in yeast. After anaerobic respiration, ethanol is produced, carbon dioxide released, and some amount of energy is also released. So this is the case of anaerobic respiration, right? Now see, there are two processes of anaerobic respiration as I discussed. First one is the alcoholic fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation where the glucose gets broken down and produces energy, ethanol and carbon dioxide, right? See this, ethanol, carbon dioxide, and it produces energy. This process is generally used in making bread, beer, wine. Actually this. In bread making, the yeast in the dough is in anaerobic condition and it converts the sugar in the dough into ethanol and carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide causes the dough to expand, making the bread rise. Because the bread fermentation takes a short period, only a small amount of alcohol are formed, most of which will evaporate when the bread is baked. Therefore, you won't be get drunk by eating bread. So, this is the role of alcoholic fermentation in bread making. Sometimes it is being asked how anaerobic respiration is helpful in bread making. So, you can answer like this. Okay. So what is happening in alcoholic fermentation? Conversion of glucose into actually ethanol, right? So this is happening in alcoholic fermentation. Now see, lactate formation of lactic acid. In this process, glucose breaks itself into energy and lactic acid. See this diagram, glucose, this is glucose. After glycolysis converts into pyruvic acid and this pyruvic acid get converted into this one lactic acid, right? So for example, it occurs in the muscles at the beginning of vigorous exercise and where they do not receive sufficient oxygen as exercise continues. So what will happen after heavy exercise? There is loss of oxygen or shortage of oxygen in our muscles. Due to shortage of oxygen, what will happen? This pyruvate convert into lactic acid. As it accumulates in the body, it causes muscles pain, right? So listen, on the other hand, it is poisonous substance which causes muscle pain as it build up like during a long race. Lactic acid require oxygen to break down safely, hence why athletes take down refreshing breath after a race. So what is happening in human muscles, sir? If human after heavy exercise, there is a loss of oxygen in muscles. So in that very case, this glucose get converted into lactic acid and then it causes muscular pain. right? So this is happening during lactic acid formation. When muscles receive good amount of oxygen, so this lactic acid break down and the person feel relaxed, right? So this is lactic acid formation, right? Okay. Now the aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means respiration in the presence of oxygen. See this diagram. This boy is taking oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. So this is the case of aerobic respiration. In this type of respiration, oxygen is required. Unlike in anaerobic respiration, the glucose in aerobic respiration is completely broken down, hence maximum energy is released. See, carbon dioxide and water are released as waste products. See this. This boy is taking oxygen and this oxygen travels through the respiratory system and finally goes to the mitochondria where this oxygen is used in the oxidation of glucose, and what will happen after the oxidation? Water vapor and carbon dioxide is formed. This carbon dioxide return back to the respiratory system and come out of the body. So this is happening during aerobic respiration. Respiration, it is occurring in presence of oxygen, right? So now see this oxygen going in, carbon dioxide coming out. This oxygen is going to the cell in the mitochondria where it is being utilized in synthesis of in the formation of energy by the oxidation of glucose, carbon dioxide release and water vapor also release. So now see the mechanism of exchange of gases. Exchange of gases means how organisms are taking oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. So exchange of gases for aerobic respiration, organisms need a continuous supply of oxygen and carbon dioxide produced during the process needs to be removed from the body. So how this exchange of gases occurs? So different organisms use different methods for intake of oxygen and expulsion of carbon dioxide. Diffusion is the method which is utilized by unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium. They are having only cell membrane. So oxygen is getting inside through the cell membrane, carbon dioxide is coming out through the cell membrane. So this is happening by the process of diffusion in some unicellular organism. In plants also, diffusion is utilized for exchange of gases because in plants there is no well-developed respiratory system. Each and every cell is in direct contact with the environment, right? So here diffusion is required for exchange of gases. In complex animal, respiratory system does the job of exchange of gases. See the diagram, fish. Gills are the respiratory organ for fishes. Fishes take in oxygen which is dissolved in water through this one. Water enter through the mouth and oxygenated water enter through the mouth, passes over the gills where gaseous exchange takes place, right? Since availability of oxygen is less in the aquatic environment, so the breathing rate of aquatic organism is faster, right? Insect, you can see spiracles are there. In a sponge, small pores are there. So insects have a system of spiracles and tracheal system through which there is exchange of gases. In a spider, book lung is there. Book lung in a spider, it is used for gaseous exchange. So different organisms have different methods. See in the chicken, see in the bird, in bird lungs are there and it is utilized for the exchange of gases, right? So different organism uses different organ for the gaseous exchange, but the motive is common to take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, right? So see the diagram and you should know the name. How gaseous exchange occur in a spider? Your answer should be book lung. How in birds gaseous exchange occur? Lungs. How in fish gaseous exchange occur? Through the gills. How in insects spiracles are there. So you have to keep these things in your mind, right? Now the most important, human respiratory system. See the diagram. Human respiratory system, the most interesting topic for class 10. So let's begin with the parts of human respiratory system and their function together. First, the very first part is the nose. The nose. Because air is taken in through the nostril and into the nasal cavity through the nose. This is nose. So air enters through the nose, goes to the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity is divided by thin bony plates. This gives the nasal cavity a larger surface area. This gives the nasal cavity a larger surface area. As the air passes over the tissue, it warms and moistens the air. This helps to protect the delicate lungs. The nasal cavity is covered in mucus, which helps to trap dust. And the nasal cavity contains sensory cells which detect a smell. This helps us to test the air to see if it is fit to breathe or not. So, what is happening in nose? Nose, air enters through the nostril, goes to the nasal chamber, and where filtration of air occurs due to presence of certain things like hair, like mucus. Okay, so as the air passes over the tissue, it warms and moistens the air. This helps to protect the delicate lungs, right? The nasal cavity is covered in mucus, which helps to trap dust. So these things occurs here, and it is also having sensory cell which detect a smell, right? So these things happen in human nose. See the pharynx. This one is the pharynx. This, see the diagram. This zone. This is the common pathway. You can see this is the common thing, common pathway, and this common pathway is called pharynx. So actually, it is shared passage for food and air. Food also comes in pharynx. Air also comes in pharynx. So it is a common pathway for the movement of food and air, right? At upper surface, the nasal cavity is joined to the pharynx at the back of the throat. See this? And here, see this? Here, pharynx joined with the trachea and esophagus also. So see this. This is the entrance of windpipe. It is called glottis, and it is closed by a flap of cartilage called epiglottis. Epiglottis is there. Actually, epiglottis close the glottis when we swallow the food. So when we swallow food, the epiglottis closes the windpipe, hence preventing food to enter windpipe. Otherwise, what will happen? Food will enter the windpipe, coughing starts. It may be dangerous also. Okay. So see this. So I think it is clear that what is pharynx? Pharynx means common pathway for the movement of food and air, right? And see here, it opens in trachea, and as well as in case of Dyson, food passes to the esophagus. So there is a splitting here also. One part goes into the trachea and other goes to the esophagus. So regarding respiration, the entrance of the windpipe is called the glottis, and here you will find epiglottis. When we swallow food, the epiglottis closes the windpipe, hence preventing food to enter windpipe, right? Now the larynx, see the larynx. Larynx is actually voice box having membranes in form of vocal cords. So thin membranes are stretched across the larynx which vibrate as air passes over them. These membranes are called vocal cords. When they vibrate, they form basic speech. And in front of the larynx, there is Adam apple. It is usually bigger in male, right? And normally it appears at the time of puberty. So this is larynx, voice box, Voice box is this, having vocal cords. When these vocal cords vibrate, it produces speech, right? See this, larynx, right? Now see the trachea. This is trachea, trachea, सांस नली, windpipe, trachea. So trachea, windpipe, it is large. See this, straight, straight tube which leads from the larynx to the bronchus. See the bronchus? This is the bronchus. It bifurcates, trachea bifurcates and goes into lungs. So these things are bronchi, the plural, bronchus is singular, so it is bronchus. So it is a large straight tube which leads from the larynx to the bronchus. Now see, trachea is having C-sept cartilage. See this. These are the cartilage. C-sept cartilage. Okay. It is having C-shaped rings of cartilage which prevent the windpipe from collapse in on itself when we exhale. What happens when we exhale? When we exhale, the air pressure inside trachea get reduced, so external air pressure can collapse it. That's why this C-shaped cartilaginous ring is there, right? Now see this, the trachea divide into two tubes, 1 and 2. See this, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is bronchi. One bronchus goes to each lung. See this, one is entering and this one is entering. So one to the left and one to the right, right? So the trachea divides into two tubes called the bronchi. One bronchus goes to each lung. The bronchi have a similar structure to the trachea, like C-sept cartilage. See this C-sept ring, cartilaginous ring you will find here. And one thing you should keep in your mind, the trachea is lined with cilia. Cilia is actually microscopic hair-like structure. The cilia beat rhythmically, moving dust trapped in the mucus on the trachea lining upward. So for this very reason, cilia is here. So inner wall of trachea, inner line of trachea is having cilia, which pushes the unwanted dust outside the respiratory system, right? So I think now it is very clear what is trachea. Trachea is windpipe having C-sept cartilaginous ring, right? And it divided into bronchus which goes into each lung. Now see the bronchiole, the tube inside the lung. The tubes inside the lungs are called bronchioles. So the tubes inside the lung are called bronchioles that divide into many small branches like a tree. See this, bronchioles. The bronchioles differ from the trachea because their wall are made up of muscles which can contract or relax to change the size of the airway. This is the most important feature of bronchiole. So you should keep in mind, bronchiole, you see this, the tubes inside the lungs means tube, consa. Bronchi divide and redivide, right? Bronchi divide and redivide inside the lung, forming a network of bronchioles which is composed of muscles which can contract or relax to change the size of the airway, right? Now see, gas exchanges occur. Where gaseous exchange occurs? Gas exchange is the exchange or by diffusion of gas, particularly oxygen and carbon dioxide, across a membrane called the gaseous exchange surface or respiratory surface, right? So respiratory surface is alveolus in case of human. In case of human, the respiratory system is having alveoli. Alveoli where? Just return to the previous slide. See, at the end of these bronchioles, you will find at the end of bronchiole, you will find alveolus. See this, you will find alveolus. Okay, the alveoli are found at the very end of the bronchioles, right? So see how gaseous exchange occurs. The alveoli are very small. Suppose this one is alveolus and this is very small sac-like structure. They have very thin wall. Thin wall is essential so that diffusion can occur easily. So they have very thin wall to assist in diffusion, and the alveoli always contain air. Now what happens? Air that is present in alveolus is rich in oxygen. So the oxygen diffuses across the alveolus wall, then diffuses to the hair, blood capillary. And this oxygen is taken by the RBC, and it is carried out to the body cell or the place where it is required. And after the use of oxygen, carbon dioxide gets formed there. This carbon dioxide return near the alveolus, diffuses to the alveolus and move out of the body. So the diffusion of oxygen across the alveolus wall occur due to this very thin surface. So the oxygen diffuses across the alveolus wall, then diffuses across the capillary wall, where is taken up by a RBC and carried to where it is required. Carbon dioxide diffuses from the blood to the air space, right? So you should keep in mind, sometimes it is being asked how there is gaseous exchange in human. So you have to write in this way. Now the question is, a respiratory surface must be adapted for gas exchange, and the alveoli is adapted in the following ways. It may be asked how alveoli is adapted for gaseous exchange. It is very common question for class 10, how alveoli is adapted for the gaseous exchange. So see this, first point, they have a very large surface area for gas exchange. Second point, they have a moist surface which allow gas to diffuse into it, right? Third thing, they are thin. Thickness is only one cell thick, which allow gas to diffuse quickly over it. And the fourth point, they are well supplied with blood vessels. See this, the blood capillaries present around the alveoli. So they are well supplied with blood vessels to carry gases to and from the respiratory surface. Means if oxygen has to transport it from alveolus to blood capillary, it can. If carbon dioxide has to be transported from blood to alveolus, it can. So see this, so they are well supplied with blood vessels to carry gases to and from the respiratory surface. So whenever a question is asked how this alveoli is adapted as a good respiratory surface, you can answer in these following points, right? So you can note down all those points. You can note down all those points and write as your answer. It is very easy but very important and tricky question. Now see how breathing occurs. How a man is taking oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. This is called breathing. Intake of oxygen, inhalation of oxygen, exhalation of CO2. This is called breathing. How it happens? Actually, breathing is a set of muscular movement that gives the respiratory surface a constant supply of fresh air. Breathing in, सांस लेना, breathing in is called inspiration, और जब सांस छोड़ रहे हैं, breathing out is called expiration, right? These movements affect the diaphragm. See the diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. Say this, when a person is taking air, diaphragm, see the position of diaphragm. When the person is giving out air, see the position of diaphragm. So breathing is important, right? So see this, these movements affect the diaphragm. Intercostal muscles means the muscles present in between ribs. These are ribs and the muscles present in between ribs. A sternum means chest bone. chest bone is called a sternum. So actually these movements affect the diaphragm, intercostal muscles, ribs and sternum, right? So breathing is important for providing oxygen for respiration and for removing waste product. The diaphragm is a sheet of muscle which separate thorax from the abdomen. The lower area is abdomen and this is diaphragm. The upper area is thorax. Intercostal muscles, see this, present in between ribs. And the pleural membrane means membrane which surround the lung. This is pleural membrane, and in between membrane you will find pleural fluid which ensure the frictionless movement. So keep these points in your mind. The diaphragm is a seat of muscle which separates thorax from abdomen, right? The intercostal muscle are found between the ribs. The pleural membrane and the pleural fluid helps to reduce friction during breathing, right? So see the breathing mechanism, how inhalation occur and how exhalation occur. See these points and diagram also. See this, air inhaled. When air inhaled, what happened? Internal intercostal muscles, the muscles present in between ribs, relax. External intermuscles contract. Rib cage moves outward. Rib cage move outward, upward. So what happens if rib cage move outward? The volume of thoracic cavity, thoracic chamber increase. See the diaphragm. Diaphragm contract and flatten. Volume of thorax cavity increase. Pressure in alveoli decrease and air moves in. And the entire process get reversed and exhalation is there. Internal intercostal muscle contract, external intercostal muscle relax, rib cage moves downward, diaphragm relax, volume of thoracic cavity decrease, pressure in alveoli increase and air move out. So these are some steps you can write to explain the breathing mechanism. So what's happened during breathing? In a chart, see this. Intercostal muscle contract, exhalation, relax. Diaphragm, see this. Contract, relax. Ribs swing upward, in exhalation swing downward. Sternum means chest bone moves outward, exhalation moves inward. Volume of thorax in inspiration increases, air is drawn in exhalation volume of thorax decreases, air is drawn out. So this is happening during the process of inspiration and exhalation. And you can note down, it is not very important in class 10, but you should know oxygen, the percent of oxygen inhaled air, say this, and percentage of oxygen is exhaled air. So there is a difference in the percentage, and due to this difference in percentage, inhaled air can easily diffuse to the blood capillary, right? So you can note down. Now it is a very common question generally being asked in class 10. How is oxygen and carbon dioxide transported in human being? So as I discussed earlier, hemoglobin transport oxygen molecule to all the body cells for cellular respiration. The hemoglobin pigment present in blood get attached to four oxygen molecules that are obtained from breathing. It thus forms oxyhemoglobin and the blood become oxygenated. See what happens? Oxygen whenever diffused from alveolus, it reaches to the blood, and in blood it combined with this hemoglobin. Four molecules of oxygen combine with one molecule of hemoglobin, and combination of hemoglobin and oxygen forms oxyhemoglobin, and thus blood become oxygenated. This oxygenated blood is then distributed to all the body cells by the heart. After giving away oxygen to the blood body cell, blood takes away carbon dioxide, which is the end product of cellular respiration. Now the blood becomes deoxygenated. Since hemoglobin pigment has less affinity for carbon dioxide, so carbon dioxide is mainly transported in the dissolved form. This deoxygenated blood gives rise carbon dioxide to lung alveoli and takes oxygen in return. In this way, the cycle goes on and exchange of gases, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide or transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs in human being. It is very common question asked in class 10, right? So this is end of the part 3 where I discussed respiration. In next video, means in life process part 4, I am going to cover transportation in living. So thanks for watching this video. Again, see this is my blog web page. You can go there and you can get some additional study material, some test paper also, online test is there. So you can go over this site, find out the test paper under the heading class 10. Okay, so thanks again for watching this video. Have a nice day.